5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're live. Hi, Marlon. So
hi, Imran.
Hi, we have Marlon Sanders with us today. Now, if you don't know Marlon, you're missing out big time. Let me just say this. The person who changed my life, the first person who changed my life is Dan Kennedy. I picked up one of his books. And then the other person, the other 50% responsible for really bringing my business to the next few levels is this mentor of mine called Marlon Sanders, right? I'm on this call today with Marlon because I'm really excited to really tap his brain and get his thoughts about what could possibly be one of the world's easiest entrepreneurship systems, one of the easiest ways that anyone can get started with when it comes to business. Marlon, what do you think? What do you think is one of the easiest models that anyone can undertake?
Yeah, so I'll tell you an interesting story, Imran, that people haven't heard before. Is before we had YouTube, before we had the internet and everything, there was a guy named Jerry Buchanan. Mm-hmm. The dude loved to golf. So he loved to golf, but he had a problem at home.
Yep.
At home, he had gophers in his yard. And one day he's golfing and he's like, how come they don't have gophers on the golf course, but I have gophers at home in my yard?
Hold on.
So
for the Singapore audience, what on earth is a gopher?
Oh, yeah, that's a funny one. I grew up in Oklahoma and we have gophers there. Gophers, I actually only seen one like once. It was like this animal like this big, but They would burrow into the ground and up above, and they made all these holes in you so they could just tear up your yard.
So not a good thing, right? All right, so there's a problem.
No. It'd make your yard just look awful with holes and big mounds all over it and everything, right?
Right.
And so he's golfing at the golf course, and it's pure, it's smooth, it's beautiful grass, no gophers, right? And so he talks to the groundkeeper. He finds out how to get rid of the gophers in his yard, which he does. Mm-hmm. And he writes up this little report that he called the Gopher Report.
Sure.
He ran these little ads at the time. You didn't have the internet. You didn't have YouTube or Facebook. So he ran them in magazines, and he sold this little report for like $10. And it ended up making a whole lot of money just selling this little report about how to get rid of gophers. Well, that was one of the very early, that's how I got started into this business. He produced a little booklet on, which I still have over on my shelf, about how he made all this money with his Gopher Report.
Yep.
And he called it the information business. I was like, wow, you mean that people will pay you money for what you know? Now, back then, Imran, it was slow. You had to place ads in magazines. They would take 2 months to come out. If your ad didn't work, you would have to run it again. It'd be another 2 months. It was a very slow business to get started, but very good once you got it rolling. Well, today, as you know, with affiliate programs, email lists, Messenger, with YouTube ads, Facebook ads, everything we have today, it's like the golden age of the information, or what I call the specialized knowledge business or information business, simply because you can get an idea. I did this week. I got an idea, typed up a little sales page, and had money the next day.
Right.
Now, how many businesses are there where you can get your idea today and have money in your PayPal or bank account, spendable cash tomorrow? How many are there like that?
Exactly, Marlon. You see, I was just telling my wife, and my wife's not really huge on this whole entrepreneurship thing. She leaves it to me. So I was just remarking to her. I said, darling, isn't it amazing that during this time and age, right, all I needed was a laptop, an idea, a compelling idea, an offer, and then I can type up something using my 10 little stubby fingers over here, put up something online, get traffic to it, and then get people to buy whatever it is that I'm selling. Just like that, an idea, a compelling offer, a keyboard, laptop, Wi-Fi connection, and we can be doing that right now. And I told her, we are living truly in one of the best times ever in the history of mankind to be able to make money. So Marlon, with regards to that whole Gopher thing, right? It seems to me that there is somewhat of a template or that people can use. So for example, someone has to ask themselves, what problems are currently out there right now that people would gladly pay in order to, get rid of. So, and then we create an information product, and correct me if I'm wrong, we create an information product. It could be video, it could be a PDF, it could be audio, it could be anything, PowerPoint slides or whatever, right? And then we package this, and then we create a sales page or sales letter that positions this product, and then we get traffic to this page, and people would pay money in exchange to get these solutions to the problems that they're facing. In a nutshell, is what I'm saying accurate, or how would you tweak it?
Well, that's exactly what it is, in that people are motivated either to solve problems or get a result.
Yeah.
And so, it's funny, Imran, because the easiest way you can get ideas for info products is just to go on Facebook and look at what people complain about in Facebook groups on different niche topics. Because everyone loves to complain, right? It's a common thing of human nature. I don't care what country you're in, people like to complain, and they happen to do it in Facebook groups.
Right.
And so you can pick your topic, pick your niche, just about any topic, and you can go there to a group and see what people are complaining about.
Yeah.
And turn that into a product. In fact, I'll tell you a funny story you don't know. I have a friend named Jonathan, and he had a recurring billing newsletter that he charged people for every month.
Right.
And there's a forum, used to be really popular, called the Warrior Forum. And so he sold it to warriors. And the way he produced the newsletter was he just hired a writer. He didn't touch it. He did not do anything himself. The writer would go to the Warrior Forum. They would look at all the threads that got the most responses and the most interest, and they would type up those questions and rephrase the answers in their own words.
Right.
And that was the newsletter that people paid for every month in the same forum where all the information was already there.
Crowdsourced. See, that's what excites me, Marlon. I was just about to ask you this question because, a couple of folks would be watching this video right now and say, but that guy had specialized knowledge. Or that guy knew how to solve the Gophers issue or the pest control issue or say marriage issues or internet marketing issues. That guy had to be the expert. But, Marlon, I'm not an expert. I don't know anything. I'm not good at pretty much anything. I can't start this business. So what you said over there kind of, piqued my interest, because does this mean that someone who wants to be involved in this business doesn't need to be an expert in the industry or the info product that they want to create, number one, and number two, they don't actually have to write a single word or sentence to create this product themselves. Would that be right, you think?
Well, it's really an interesting thing. First of all, we both studied Dan Kennedy. Yeah. Because we're kind of old school a little bit. And Dan had this saying, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Mm-hmm. Or, you've heard the story about the two people running from the tiger. And I don't tell the story real great, but the point of the story is that you don't have to be the fastest runner. All you have to do is be faster than the guy next to you that's also running from the tiger, right?
I love that.
And so you got to be one step ahead. That's all you got to be, is one step ahead. And so I tell people beginners are a huge market. And in about any niche, you can target beginners. Now, as far as doing products yourself, it's really interesting because there are literally thousands of products that are already done, literally thousands, by people that don't know how to sell them. They don't know how to market.
Yeah.
And so there's a guy in India named Garib Bora. What Garib did was he lost his job and he decided to start this business. He didn't know anyone. He didn't speak clear English. He couldn't go to networking events because he didn't have the money to fly to where the events were.
Yeah.
And he couldn't network over the phone because he didn't even speak clear English at the time.
Yeah.
And so, he started this business. He really wasn't able to create his own products. So all he did was he went and he found the people, incidentally off the Warrior Forum, that already had products and couldn't sell them.
Right.
And he wasn't some expert marketer, but he was one step ahead of them. He had only sold like 200 or 300 products, but that was 200 or 300 more than they had sold.
Yeah.
So he struck a deal with them to launch their products on a commission. And within 3 years, starting from scratch, having lost his job, he did $1 million. He's still in the game today, still launching, still doing fabulous and great.
Perfect.
So, yeah, you know, I like people to create their own products when they're able. I think it's great. Talking, most people can talk.
Right.
Some people like to write. Like I personally enjoy writing. I like take my pad of paper. In fact, I don't even write on a laptop or something. I just write on paper. I go out to like a scenic environment with trees and some iced tea and shade, and I write.
Yeah.
But if you don't like to do that, or you don't like to talk, like Gareb didn't even speak clear English.
Right.
So you can find products from other people and strike deals with them.
Okay. So Marlon, what I'm hearing right now, see, I've always been curious. What if someone is saying, I don't want to be the expert? Would you say that a better route for them in this model, in the scheme of things, is to go down the affiliate model, which means to say perhaps they can just create a short PDF or ebook or report or checklist or whatever, just to draw people in, and then they can reroute those people to all of these affiliate offers that is out there right now in the market, and they collect a commission on those things?
Well, yeah, it's certainly one of the routes that people can follow. I like to see people have some of their own products to market, at least a few,
sure,
because it develops rapport and a bonding with the customers.
Right.
Right. But that can just be a report. I've seen just reports work. There's a lot of different ways to slice the deal. My recommendation, though, is if they don't want to be the expert, if you market other people's products, they don't even know your name.
Yeah.
It's the person who did the product. It's their name out there.
Right.
I mean, I understand some people don't want their name even out. They don't even want their name on the report. Well, then you need to market things that other people have done, but they haven't learned how to market.
Right. What advice can you give to someone who doesn't want to write a single word? They want to outsource it. Are there any websites, any resources that you would personally recommend to such a person?
Well, you know what? A lot of people, I have a friend in Malaysia named Edmund. Edmund could write and do video. He just didn't like to.
Okay.
It's not that he could. You know Edmund.
Yeah.
Great guy. He just didn't like to. And so I think maybe originally he used people off of Upwork, which is one of the online services. And then eventually, though, he's making enough money that he just hired someone to do it for him. I don't remember if it was full or part-time. But, yeah, it's not that he couldn't. He just didn't want to. He just didn't want to do the work. He likes to he flies a lot to Indonesia and plays those game things, different kinds of games they do over there, like with big water guns and all kinds of crazy stuff. He likes his leisure. You know anything about Edmund, he likes his leisure. Right. So, yeah, the answer is I think where there's a will, there's a way. There's a lot of creative ways to get around obstacles. But let me say this. Most of the time, people make it out to be some big obstacle in their head. But when they actually try it once or do it, they find out, oh, that wasn't hard at all, or that wasn't bad at all. I made it out to be. Right. But then they find out it's really not. It's not that big. It's not that big. Like you said, I can do it and you can do it. So, it's the. I don't know about you, but I'm certainly not a rocket scientist.
For sure.
But I love marketing. That's the thing, is I just was entranced by it. I loved it. I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like, how can they get paid for these things like this and get paid for trade products for dollars instead of time for dollars, right?
Right. See, Marlon, I'm not sure. The purpose of doing this quick video with you is just so that I can also add value to my audience. And, you know, I've introduced you as the guy that literally really just doubled my business, right? I was at a time when I was stagnating and everything. A lot of my viewers who are watching this right now, they're probably thinking, well, I'm not at Imran's level or whatever. I'm just starting out from square one.
Right.
Would it be okay if I were to ask you if there were any giveaways that you could give, like your typical giveaways? I don't know if you have any that could allow them to wet their feet, right? I'm going to be placing this onto a website with the timestamps and a few resources that Marlon recommends. If you could place a few things later on, that would be a good thing. Would that be okay, Marlon?
Yes, of course. We'll come up with a couple things to help people get started. Like you say, get their feet wet and get started. Sure.
Right. And here's a surprise, right? Here's a surprise. I didn't warn you beforehand. Do you think it would be possible if some of these guys wanted to get some, you know, time with you? Say they want to get on the phone like this with you, 5-10 minutes to get some advice or whatever. Is that something that you're open to doing?
Well, I do have a specific program. I don't want to go into it right now, but I do have a program where they can do that.
Right.
But it's for an hour, but it not really 5 or 10 minutes, but it is for an hour. But, you know, I love my customers and the people we have in different programs. And I got a lot of different things that people can be involved in. And I enjoy helping them. And what I found is that a lot of times, like I was saying before, people feel like they have some big, hairy problem or issue or something that's stopping them or holding them back. Mm-hmm. And yet the person that's been through that and has some experience, it's really no big thing. And you can say, oh, just do this, this, or this, and it'll solve the problem for them. Yeah. I see that quite a bit, Imran.
Okay. That's great. So we're just going to be dropping some of these resources and links and PDFs or whatever below this video. Marlon, I've got to hop off the call in just a while. Is there any last advice that you want to give to the complete newbie who has never dabbled in entrepreneurship or say even info marketing?
Yeah, you know, Imran, it's funny because there's studies that have been done on this. And what they found out is that the most important thing for a brand new person is just doing something simple. Keep it simple. Something small that they can get a result. Like just sell your first product.
Yeah.
Just get some result because that raises your belief level, which gives you the belief to then go sell 10 or 20, which gives you the belief to go sell 100 or 200. And so I've always, because that's how I progressed in my business. I mean, my first time out, I sold 1 or 2. It was a little ad.
Right.
And I only sold 1 or 2, right? But that gave me the excitement or the belief to know it could work. And that took me to the next step, to the next, to the next. So that would be my advice.
Just
get started.
All right, just get started. All right. And I hope in the resources, we're going to show you guys watching this video, perhaps the first or second step to just get started, right? Because you guys want to be building momentum over here, right? So Marlon, once again, thank you so much for introducing to my audience this concept called info marketing, info entrepreneurship. I really think it represents a great opportunity for people who want to get started with a laptop, Wi-Fi connection, and idea and some content. Anyone can do this, especially in a place like Singapore, Malaysia, you know, in the Southeast Asia region. I don't see why more people are not doing this, right? I think I want to help inspire more people to take up this infopreneurship, route. And Marlon, once again, thank you so much for having us on this call. And let's do a second call.
It's my pleasure, Imran. Have a great day.
Thank you.